Oh, YouTube. Well, every year for my daughter-in-law's birthday, they hold a chili cook-off party. Invite a lot of friends over. Everybody makes a different kind of chili. Last year was really fun. And so this year, well, last year I made a bacon chili. It was basically, I started off with bacon and I used ground beef. This year I'm varying the recipe a little bit. And let me show you that bus life is not just fixing the bus and driving around. So let me show you how I do this. All right, I start off this year with some thin sliced pork chops. And then I'm cutting them into about 1/4-inch strips. And then once I get these strips cut, and I take them and cut them into 1/4-inch pieces. So basically I'm making a whole lot of 1/4-inch cubes out of these pork chops. And I'm doing this the day before because this is sort of the more intense, labor-intensive part of it. And I'm thinking of mixing some spices in with this bowl of pork, because I got about 2 pounds of pork, which is equal to about what I was going to do for ground beef. So let me get this cut up and then we'll move on. So the other meat component is going to be a nice, this is only 12 ounces of bacon. I decided on the applewood this time, and it's a lot of fat to it, which is what I'm really looking for. And what a lot of people might think about doing would be to just cook the bacon up and crumble it, but I really want the bacon for the fat content more than anything else. But rather than try to cut it lengthwise, I'm just going to cut this into small pieces here, and it'll break down when we start cooking to some extent. It's basically, like I said, for the fat content, for frying up all that pork and add that nice little smoky, bacony back taste to the chili. Let me get that cut up. All right, so we got the bacon. I broke it all up a little bit, and we got the little pork cubes, and that's all ready for tomorrow. I'm not going to add any spices at this point, although if you wanted to marinate the pork, you certainly could. And I just decided that the spices are all going in the morning, or when I start cooking. So, just put them down here in the bottom of my fridge to wait for tomorrow morning when I start cooking the chili up. So, see you then. Okay, it's time to start cooking. It's the next morning, and I'm gonna start out and dice up some onions. I've got the bacon we chopped up yesterday. I've got the pork that we cubed up. I'm going to have a mix of dark red and light red kidney beans. And I've got a couple cans of crushed tomatoes and a couple cans of diced tomatoes. So first, I've got to dice the onions up. But before I actually start that, I like to drain the beans real well. So I'm going to open them up, put them in a colander, and then work from there. I like to give my beans a nice, just a quick rinse. Just to get a little bit of that thick beanie juice off. I mean, some people might like it. I prefer just to try to get it off of there. To me, it seems to foam up, and I don't like that in my chili. So let's get to putting this together. Now, one thing I've learned over time is that, you know, people are always worried about bacon spits, and if you start out with a cold pan, it doesn't. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit, and we will get this, get the bacon so it's to the, render out the fat, but it's still chewy stage. We don't really want crispy, we don't want little hard bits inside the chili. And we also don't want the pan so hot that it's going to smoke too much. Better to take it slow at this stage till we get a lot of that fat rendered out. So, okay, so I got a lot of the fat rendered out, and it's still soft. So while that's going, I'm going to, I want to cook the onions down too. Use all that fat heat and do them together, and then I'll do the pork before we start adding everything else. Sometimes put a lid on it. Keeps a lot of that moisture from the onions in there, and helps things cook a little faster, and just to get it going. Well, you can see some of the bacon is crisping up a little bit. Don't worry about this on the bottom. That's going to come off. The onions are starting to get a little translucent, and because we got this long cooking time, that's all I really want to do. So I'm going to do is using this spoon with the holes in it to try to leave as much grease as possible in there for the pork, and we're just going to scoop this stuff out into a bowl, and we'll get going on the pork. I just try to get most of it out. I'm not really worried about every little bit. And I get all those pork cubes. Of course, sit in the bowl all night. They sort of stuck together, but that's cool. Just want to brown them up a little bit. And again, it's going to be a long, slow cook. So I'm not trying to get them cooked all the way through, just get them cooked a little browned up around the outsides. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, some of it, majority of it seems to be a little, it's almost a sear on the outside. So again, it's going to be a long, slow cook, so if they all aren't hit, that's all right. They'll cook in with the rest of it. So let me start adding stuff back in. Put the bacon and onions back in. That stuff sort of mixed together. Add our beans. Let them sort of mix down in. And a can of diced tomatoes. Boy, is this pot going to be full. That's okay. And then the crushed tomatoes. And get this all mixed up, really careful. I usually start out with 1 can of each. We'll see how it goes. As I mix it in, of course, it's going to fill in the spaces here. So I may end up adding another can of the crushed tomatoes. Get a little more liquid in here. Getting right down to the bottom, so that hopefully you got nothing sticking to the bottom. I'm going to give this a stir occasionally during the day. Now my Texas friends are probably going to go, that's not a chili. There's no spices in it yet. That's where you're wrong. This is where I started adding spices. Now that I got it all going, and we'll let this, as it's starting to slowly heat up, come to a boil, we can add the spices in. Some people are going to say I'm cheating by starting off with this stuff, but it's got the chili peppers, other spices, say cumin, onion, salt, garlic. So this is just sort of a base. Just gives me a starting point real quick and easy. Just throw that down in. And as this cooks, I'll be tasting it and adding other things to it. Like I said, that's just the start. I do like garlic, so I'm going to add some more garlic powder to it. And a little Creole seasoning. That's basically different kinds of pepper. It's got a nice bite to it. And again, I will check it along the way. And because you got to put in a little Tabasco. Now, I don't like much. I like a milder chili, so I want it to just nibble at the back of my throat. I don't want it to make me afraid to go to the bathroom the next day. So I'll mix this in, we'll get this simmering, and we'll come back and take a look at it in a little bit. As you can see, it's simmering, and I give it a stir every once in a while. And we're going to let this go. You can see it's really a lot of liquid up here. I want it to cook, get all the meat being cooked in there, and then I'll uncover it after a while to let some of the moisture come off. But for now, I'm going to leave it covered. I think that's boiling nicely. A little spillage down the side, but that's about time to let this cook down a little bit. This has been going for a little over an hour and a half. A little bit of everything in this. Yeah, it's got a nice peppery flavor to it, and I did add a little bit more chili powder, and I put just a little bit more of the Cajun pepper in, and it's terribly hot, but that's definitely got a peppery flavor. So I got this turned down as low as it'll go, and I'm definitely gonna have to clean the stove, but we'll let this cook down a little bit. We're gonna eat. I guess people start gathering around 4 o'clock, and it's just 1 o'clock right now, so I got another 3 hours or so to really let it cook down. So see how it looks in the end. Well, I do apologize that I I was having so much fun with the chili party that I forgot to take the camera in with me. We had about 8 different kinds of chilies. There was a vegan chili, there was a pheasant chili, a couple chicken chilies, mine of course, a few different kinds of beef chilies, different beans used, different spices, different levels of heat. So it was a lot of fun. Everybody seemed to have a good time and just enjoy ourselves. And so of all of them, and I'm not bragging, mine seemed to be the most popular. I did have some left over, so I've got about 3 meals maybe left. So I'm going to enjoy that. And maybe I need to pick up some hot dogs, make some chili dogs, chili burgers, chili mac and cheese. So anyway, hopefully what I did gives you an idea of a different way to do a chili and experiment. I've got a year to think about what I'm going to do for the next chili cooking party. Where can I get some rattlesnake? That might be interesting.